Hi everybody! Those of you who follow me on Facebook know about my fat little fish key hanger project that I'm doing beside the lure making. Small floating key hangers like these ones that will hold your boat key and actually remain floating if dropped in water. I've had quite many requests for a salmon or a sea trout, and also a lot of requests about how the process is for making these. So in this video log I'll show you how I make this one that is supposed to be a salmon or a sea trout. Actually those fish are very much alike, so it's more or less depending on the coloring of those. Okay, so just hang in here and see how it's done. Making a key hanger like these ones doesn't really vary much from making a normal lure, so actually the process is more or less the same as you will see from some of my other lure making videos. To make a master I will be using Sculpey, like I often do, then I'll just try first of all to model it like the drawing I've made here, and see how close to that one I can get. At least getting the same facial impression and so on. So, well, let's just get started with that. Well, I've started out by taking a lump of Sculpey that matches the appropriate size of the key hanger I will make. And now I'll just start by shaping it, and I won't be speaking that much. I will just concentrate on making it and probably speed through some of the boring parts in the movie. So, well, just hang in here and I'll try to keep you updated as I move along. Well, I've been working close to 1 hour now on this one, and I think I've gotten as far as I can without baking it, because now with all the small features, the more I handle it, the more I ruin. So just about all that I can do for now is done, and the next step will be to put it in the oven for about half an hour, 45 minutes I think, and make sure it's quite hot, and then I'll have to sand it a bit and make sure that all details are intact, or just touch them up once again. So next step, into the oven. Well, the fish is now baked, and we just have to cool down for a while, and then we can get on with the project. Now the fish have had a little time to cool off, and I'm ready to go on with the next step. The clay is quite hard, and you can start sanding it or cutting it with a knife if you like. Most of it I will just sand down. It's time to remove all imperfections and small bumps on the body here. I might also try to emphasize some of the details I have already made. I won't involve you in all this. I'll just show the result afterwards, I think, as it's pretty hard to see what I'm doing, and the result is not visible on screen, but it will be in the final bait, or in the final key hanger. So that's what I'll be doing now. I'll be using different grades of sandpaper, starting from 150 to about 600, I think, the finest. Maybe 1,000 if I feel it isn't completely smooth with the 600. Anyway, a little more work to be done, and then I'll be back. Actually, it's quite easy to see after the few first strokes with the sandpaper how uneven the fish is. So it takes a little while. You should get rid of all this and have a nice smooth surface all the way. So it'll take a bit of time to get that far, but nothing to do but keep working, sanding. Now I'm done sanding off the fish and cleaning up all the details. So now there's nothing to do but actually making a mold of it. This won't be today, so I'll get back to that tomorrow, but I think the result is quite fine. I'm not quite sure how much it looks like the one in the picture, but the general idea is there, and I'm quite satisfied with it. It is more or less the size of the pike, a little longer than the perch, but the shape of the fish will require that it was a bit longer to be able to carry a key, I think. So I'm quite satisfied with this one, and we'll now go on to the mold making. The process here on is just more or less like always. You make a two-part mold in silicone, and if you are interested in how that's done, please watch my basic luremaking video about that one. And after that, you'll just get on with the casting in polyurethane resin. There's also a basic luremaking video for that. I will only leave a few clips here, and maybe stop if I think there's something special about this type of lure, but so far I don't think so. So, well, you want to save a little money on silicone, one way to do it is to add some parts of old molds to your cast here, to your mold. So what I'll just do here today, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it, because generally I think it's not as suitable, but it's nice to have if you are afraid that the mold isn't thick enough. It's nice to have something to add. So I'll just cut off one of my old molds here. The easiest way is actually a scissor. And this is just used as filling in the silicone, and I'll show you later how I apply it, at least for this one. Well, I just left a little bit of the silicone here, and now that I'm quite confident that the silicone has floated nicely into the mold and covered all parts here, I will just try to use a little of those old mold parts I cut out, especially here around the sides. This is just to reduce the amount of silicone used. I'm just testing it at the moment. I'm not sure. If you use it from the beginning, I think it's very difficult to get it all mixed up thoroughly. And I like to have a nice smooth surface when I'm done, to be able to assemble the mold with some wooden plate or something to make sure that it's nice and stable. So just use a little bit of this. Let's see how it works. Okay, like that, I think. And then I'll just use the rest of the fresh silicone here to cover it all. And I hope that the fin that is sticking up will be covered completely, or I will have to use some more scrap silicone here, but I hope. And I'm a bit curious on how deep that fin is, so I'll just try to figure out where it is. It seems to be quite deep. When casting in resin, you don't need that thick a mold all everywhere. So as long as the mold is stable and it's covered with a plate of wood, it's fine. So, well, now you can see there's a lot of bubbles coming up. Doesn't really help with all the scrap silicone, but you can just pop them and well, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that's important is that there's no bubbles in just beside the master itself, but I'm quite sure that there's no bubbles there, so I'll just pop as many as I like here, and then we'll just let the rest be. The second part of the mold has now had 17 hours to cure, and although it isn't completely cured yet, I think it's safe to open the mold and see how the result is. I can feel from the small parts here left by the Lego that it seems to be quite hard, so there's no problem in that. As you can see, the the bits and parts of old scrap silicone I put in has almost completely vanished into the mold itself. And as you can see, I used 2 different batches of silicone on this one. Apparently they have different colors, so I'll have a 2-colored mold here. Well, let's open the mold and see how it looks. And I could start here where the funnel, where I have some modeling clay to show the funnel here. So I'll just hopefully see there's a few spaces where my Vaseline didn't get well. You can see there's some spaces where there you can see the scrap silicone, but that won't show up in the casts. So let's just see if we can get this one out as well, like that. Okay, looking very good. I see no disturbing bubbles anywhere. Well, a little one right there, but that won't give me any problems. I can sand that away with no problems. Well, I don't know if they need to be completely cured before I do the first casts. I'm going to try anyway to see the result. So I'll just get my my resin, and then I'll do a cast here. So well, I'll be back shortly. I now have cleaned up the mold a bit and removed all the small parts from the Legos and cut off the edges with a scissor. So now the mold is ready. I won't be showing too much of all the casting itself, as you can see one of my other movies for that part. So I'll just leave in a few clips for that, and then we'll see afterwards the final result. It's looking great. It is looking great. Not much work to do before I can paint this one, and I must admit I might even do it already tonight. I'm very anxious to see how much I can get this to look like a sea trout or salmon. So, well, need to do a few more, but then we'll be painting tonight maybe. I'm now just about ready to start painting. I made a few preparations. As you can see, I placed the fish on a skewer here. I drilled a little hole in the nose of it. As these will be key hangers, this is where I'll be attaching the string for the key. So I drilled those. I have prior to that I washed them all carefully, and I just whacked them all with some sanding paper to make sure that the paint has a good surface to cling onto. Apart from that, I have cut out some mesh matching the shape of the fish. You can see this technique used in my last video log regarding how to print paint scales. So I've cut those out, and I'll be using those on the way to do the scales. Well, let's get on with the painting and see how it goes. I'm now done painting the 4 small salmons, and I must say I'm fairly satisfied with the result. Nice and shiny and with scales and everything. The only thing missing now is to paint some dots on them. I'll just use a marker for that part, and then of course putting on some eyes, and then they're ready for epoxy. I have finished up the small fishes with some eyes and a few small dots along the sides to make them look like a salmon. I know, as you can see, we've moved out into the shed, and I'm sorry the lighting is terrible out here, but it's winter and I only have this lighting at the moment. Well, as you can see, I placed all the lures here in my dryer, and I'll now mix up some epoxy and start coating all of them. You can see there's also a few small pikes and a perch. So I'll be wearing my gloves and my mask, so I won't be able to speak, but anyway, this is not supposed to be an introduction to coating lures, so let's just enjoy the moment of silence with me not saying anything, and then afterwards would say in 3 days, I guess, because I usually give them 3 layers, we will see the finished result. Well, I'll be getting on, and you can just watch some of it. The epoxy on the 4 small salmons are now fully hardened, and I must say that I think the result is quite awesome. I'm certain that it isn't really justified in the camera. As some of you might notice, I tried a new epoxy this time. I normally use Envirotex, but this time I tried some stuff from the supplier of the resin I use. And I must say that this is really working great for me. Much better than Envirotex. With only 2 coats, I had a result like this. No bubbles or fish eyes in any way. So I'm very satisfied with that. And quite as hard as the Envirotex, I think. So I'll be using that from here on, that's for sure. As you can see, I drilled a hole and attached a little string to the lure or to the fish to be able to hang it in hang a key from it, or put in a key ring if you want to do that. Well, this was actually all for the little video log regarding how I make my key hangers. Although it isn't exactly lure making, I still hope you found it interesting. In any case, the techniques used you can use for any lure making project. So it wasn't quite off topic. Well, that's all for now, and I hope you see me soon.